Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. I am Rachel from Rachel Reads, and welcome to my TBR shelves. So today I'm doing a TBR video for September, my September TBR. I'm going to do it a little bit different. I'm going to have a lottery to pick my TBR. That's right, you heard me, a lottery. So the way this is going to work is I have worked out how many books that I have on my TBR shelves, I think, and it's 207. So I have this shelf, I have this shelf, and then I have a pile here behind me that don't fit on the shelves. So all up, it is supposed to be 207 according to Goodreads, unless I've missed a couple. The way I'm going to work this is I'm going to use a random number generator, which I will link down below, to pick two books. Now the reason I'm getting it to pick two books is because I want to give myself a little bit of choice. So it's going to generate two numbers, let's say 1 and 5, and I'm going to figure out what book number 1 is. That would be Under the Midnight Sky by Annie Romer. What book number 5 is, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That would be Karen Slaughter, The Kept Woman. And I'm going to have to pick one of these to add to my TBR. I'm going to do this 7 times. So at the end of this book, I should have 7 books. I'm going to do this 8 times. So by the end of this video, I'm going to have 8 books on my TBR. Now, I'm not allowed any passes. I have to read these books on my TBR. So the reason that I'm doing this is because I'm finding that when I am just picking books, I'm just going for the newest books that are on my shelf because I'm forgetting what else I actually have. So I want to do something random to really think about how this is going to work. So to really start to think about some of the books I actually own. So in terms of the numbers, the way I'm going to count is it will go down along here, then down to the next shelf. Okay, then when I finish this shelf, there's 3 shelves, I'm going to come up to the top of the black one, work my way down through all of the different shelves, and then these ones will be last, and I'll go from top to bottom, just to be confusing. So without further ado, let's get into the video. Let's start to spin. So the first 2 numbers that come up are 204 and 179. Wow, it's gonna have me counting. Okay, so let's get into this counting. I'm gonna count to 179 first. Okay, so 81 on that shelf. Okay, so let's see what we've got here. So, spin number 1, we came up with Night by Night by Jack Jordan, and this one is about, so rejected by her family and plagued by insomnia, Rose Shaw is on the brink, but one dark evening she collides with a man running through the streets. He quickly vanishes. The only sign he ever existed, a journal dropped at Rose's feet. So she begins obsessively to dedicate her sleepless nights to discovering what happened to Flynn Matthews, the mysterious author of the journal. Why was he convinced someone wanted to kill him? And why, in the midst of a string of murders, won't the police investigate his disappearance? Rose is determined to uncover the truth, but she has no idea what it will cost her. Okay, so that was book option 1. And option 2 is The Girl in the Spider's Web by Stieg Larsson. And so this is the 4th book in the Girl with the Tattoo series. And what it says is, the girl with the dragon tattoo is back. Lisbeth Salander and Michael Blomsvik have not been in touch for some time. Blomsvik is contacted by a renowned scientist, Professor Balder, fearing for his life, but more concerned for his son's well-being. Balder wants to publish a story, but more interesting to Blomsvik is Balder's connection with a certain female super hacker. It seems that Lisbeth Salander, like Balder, is targeted of a gang of ruthless cyber criminals. which soon brings terrors to the streets of Stockholm, to the Millennium team, and to the Blomsterk and Slander themselves. So it's a hard pick. Like, this sounds like an interesting little thriller, but I have wanted to read this for ages. It's been on my TBR for ages, so I think I'm going to go with The Girl in the Spider's Web. Okay, let's go up to spin number 2. Spin number 2, I had 8 and 186. For my second spin, my 2 options were Tell Me a Secret by Samantha Hayes and Tell Me No Lies by Greg Hertzwitz. So I'm going to start with Tell Me No Secrets. This one is about, so when Lorna gets a chilling text from an ex-lover, Andrew, she feels her perfect life starting to unravel around her. Everything in Lorna's life runs like clockwork, from a 6 a.m. morning run to the strict 60-minute counselling session she gives. It's the only way she can deal with the terrible secret she carries. Because the secret she thought she was finally free of, because the only other person who knew it was Andrew. And Andrew died the day before the message was sent. Okay, that's book 1, option 1. Option 2 was Tell Me No Lies. And this one says there's no choice. Daniel Brusher is leaving behind his job as a probation counsellor, working with hardened criminals to spend time with his wife, now well again after a serious illness. However, nothing is ever that simple. When he finds a scrawled message in the post at work demanding, admit what you've done or you'll bleed for it, you'll have till midnight, he is horrified, then relieved to discover it is not addressed to him, but he learns that his intended victim is already ready. More death threats signal a series of gruesome, seemingly inexplicable murders, until a note is addressed to Daniel himself. And with the clock ticking, he must discover who wants him dead and why will become the next victim. I think I'm going to go with Tell Me a Secret by Samantha Hayes. I think it just sounds interesting. I think it sounds like a really fast-paced thriller, and it's much shorter too. So I think that's the one I'm going to go with. Okay, let's spin again. The next 2 numbers that I picked up are 127 and 99. It's a lot of big numbers. Okay. After spin number 3, I came up with 2 options. I have The Husband's Secret by Leanne Moriarty. And this is about Cecilia Fitzpatrick, devoted mother and successful Tupperware consultant, has found a letter from her husband to be opened only in the event of his death. But Cecilia's husband isn't dead. He's on a business trip. And when she questions him about the letter on the phone, Celia senses that something she hasn't experienced before. John Paul is lying. We all have secrets, but not like this. Okay, one option. I haven't really liked any of the Leanne Moriarty books that I have previously owned, but I bought this when I bought all the others, so that's why I still have this. And the next one I have, so second option is Memories of the Storm by Marsha Willett. And this is about, it's been a house of secrets for over 60 years. Bridge House is on the edge of Edmore, a beautiful, I just snapped my fingernail somehow. How did I do that? Like, when did I do that? Was it when I was counting? What the actual fudge? Anyway. Cleo is staying there with her godmother, Hester. Reliving happy childhood memories, Jonah, visiting the area, chanced upon the house where his mother stayed as a child in the fervid atmosphere of the Second World War, a time where passions run high. They don't know it yet, but their histories are inexplicably linked. Hester knows the truth, but how much should she tell them? What would be gained by raking over the past? As the young couple become closer, Hester realizes that they must know the truth before it's too late. I think I'm going to go with this one, Memories of the Storm. I don't have any historical fiction in my pile yet, and I think it just sounds interesting. So I'm going to pick that one. Okay, let's spin again. So the next two that I have are number 16 and number 97. At least we're starting to get a few smaller numbers. Okay, number 16. Okay, so spin number 3, I have 2 options again. So first option is Just Take My Heart by Mary Higgins Clark. And this one is about, when a Broadway star, Natalie Raines, is found in her home dying of a gunshot wound, her soon-to-be ex-husband, Greg Aldrich, is the chief suspect. No one knows that only days before, she accidentally came face to face with the man who had killed her former roommate when they were both struggling young actresses. No charges are brought against Aldrich until 2 years later when Jemmy Easton, a career criminal, claims that Aldrich had tried to hire him to kill his wife. Handling the case is Emily Wallace, a 32-year-old widowed assistant prosecutor. She spends long hours preparing for the trial, accepting the offer of a neighborhood to look after her dog in her absence. Unaware of his violent past, she gives him a key to her home. As Aldrich's trial is starting to make headlines, Emily's boss warns her that the high-profile case will reveal personal matters such as the fact that she had a heart transplant. And during the trial, Emily experiences sentiments which defy all reason and continues after Aldrich's fate is decided by the jury. What she does not know is her own life is now at risk. That was a really long synopsis. And the second option I have is Shelter by Sarah Franklin. And this is set in the spring of 1944. A war threatens even the most remote English communities. A trainee lumberjack and Italian prisoner of war form a friendship in the Forest of Dean. Both are outsiders, both are in desperate, unspoken need. Connie Granger arrived at the ancient forest alone. Fleeing tragedy in the devastated city, she hopes that a woman's timber courts will give her a place of safety and a place to protect the secret she carries. CPA is haunted by his memories of combat and loss, but is surprised to find a certain liberty in his new surroundings. They discover in each other a means to start again, to find a home. But Connie knows she cannot stay, and soon she must make a life-defining choice. I think I'm going to go with Mary Higgins Clark, and the reason is I've got so many Mary Higgins Clark on my TBR shelves that if I don't get started, I'll never get started, so that's why I'm picking that one. Let's spin again. So we've got 43 and 199. That's my fifth spin. I have 2 options again, and this one I think is going to be an easy choice. The first option I have is Between Sisters by Kirsten Hanna, and this one is about, we all make terrible mistakes, but for Megan Dantes, the terrible choices she made some years ago cost her everything, including the love of her sister Claire. Megan is now a highly successful attorney, and she has put all thoughts of love completely behind her, until she meets the one man who believes he can change her mind. Claire has fallen in love for the first time in her life, and as her wedding day approaches, she prepares to face her 2 strong-willed older sisters. Reunited after 2 decades, these 2 women who believe they have nothing in common will try to become what they never were, a family. Okay, I love Kristen Hanna, so it's going to be hard to change my mind about that one. The next one is The Wrong Girl by Laura Wilson. And so when 3-year-old Phoebe Piper went missing on a family holiday, her family was devastated. Despite massive publicity and a long investigation, no trace was ever found. 7 years later, Molly Jackson, aged 10, and recently uprooted to a Norfolk village, finds her uncle Dan dead in his bed. Molly remembers nothing of her early years, but she's been sure for ages that she is Phoebe. Everything in her life points to it, and now she finally has proof. Dan's death brings his sister Janice back to Norfolk, where she's reunited with Molly's sister Susie. Okay, I already know. I don't need to finish reading that. I'm just going to go with Kirsten Hanna. Like, I just can't not pick that. Okay, let's spin again. So we've got 187 and 13. Now I'm going to cheat with this one, and I know book one up here is number 80, so I'm just going to count from here, and then I'll go back to over there for never mind. Sixth spin. Okay, so the first option, and I think I'm going to go with this one, is The Perfect Friend by Barbara Copperwaith, and this is a psychological thriller, and it just says, she'll do anything for you. My name is Alex, and my world has been shattered. My husband has left me, my children won't speak to me, my friend Kerry is the only person I have. She's the only one I can trust to keep all my secrets. She'd never do anything to let me down, would she? Okay, and this one's really short too. And my second option is a Mary Higgins Clark, I'll Walk Alone. And I've already got a Mary Higgins Clark, so I'm not going to pick this one. I'm going to go with the shorter, this one. Okay, let's spin again. We have number 200 and number 80. This one's easy. I know that this one is number 80. And I'm going to cheat, and I'm going to count backwards to this one because I don't want to count to 200. Okay, my next spin, and I already know which one I'm going to pick too. I'm not even going to bother reading the synopsis except for the one I'm going to read. So I've got Baby Teeth by Zoe Stage, and I've got Magic by Danielle Steele. I just picked up Baby Teeth and I've heard really good things about it. I'm going to read this one. It's about a family. So from the outside, it says Suzette has it all. She lives in a glamorous, ultra-modern home designed by her handsome Swedish husband. She homeschools her beautiful and fiercely intelligent 7-year-old daughter, Hannah. And they look like the perfect family, but appearances can be deceptive. But Hannah isn't just clever, she's dangerous. Her behavior is carefully calculated. She's happy to be Daddy's sweet little girl, but with Mummy, things are very different. And as soon as they are alone together, Hannah's games begin. Is this all a scary joke, or should Suzette be genuinely afraid? Could there be something seriously wrong with her daughter, and will anyone believe her? Because what kind of child wants to kill her own mother? Sounds... Let's spin again. So we've got 114 and we've got 56. I got An Unwanted Guest by Shari Lapina and Stephen King's Doctor Sleep. Now I already know which one I'm going to read because I know Doctor Sleep is a sequel to The Shining. I have not read The Shining yet, so I'm not going to pick that one. What I am going to read is An Unwanted Guest by Shari Lapina, and this is about... All the guests arrive at a beautiful remote Mitchell's Inn, and they're all looking forward to a relaxing weekend deep in the forest miles away from anywhere. They watch their fellow guests with interest from polite distance. When a violent storm, the group finds itself completely cut off from the outside world. Nobody can get in or out, and the first body is found, and the horrifying truth comes to light. There's a killer among them and nowhere to run. So this kind of sounds like Sleep by C.L. Taylor, but I have heard good things. I have not read any of Shari Lapina before. And I am interested to do so. I've heard good things and I've heard bad things, but I want to see if I like her writing style. So I'm just going to quickly go through what my TBR looks like. There are 8 books. I may read them all, I may not. We'll see what happens. But we have The Girl in the Spider's Web by Stieg Larsson. We have Just Take My Heart by Mary Higgins Clark. We have Memories of the Storm by Marsha Willett. We have Tell Me a Secret by Samantha Hayes. We have An Unwanted Guest by Shari Lapina. We have Baby Teeth by Zoe Stage, or however you say Zoe Stage. We have The Perfect Friend by Barbara Copperwaith. And last but not least is Between Sisters by Kirsten Hanna. So I'm going to wrap up this TBR now. I hope you like this idea of the lottery picking my TBR. It was a lot of fun for me. I think next time I will try and come up with an easier way of counting through them. I quite like this. It gave me a little bit of ownership from a TBR, and there's lots of books that I probably wouldn't have picked up without being prompted. So I'm going to go pack up all of these books and I will chat with you later. So let me know if you've read any of these. Let me know if there were any of the books that I mentioned that you think I should have picked instead. Did I make any mistakes? And also if there are any books that you see on my TBR shelves that you think I should read, let me know and I will try and get to them as soon as possible. And hopefully we can slowly whittle down this TBR shelf because it is getting insane. Okay, catch you later. Bye.